Okay.
Like, HL Ashville Final is the right version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, should.
Special final.
Feels weird not having a new version of the same map every season, doesn't it?
Yeah. Right. Alright, is there anything specific you guys want me, like any specific things you want help with, or do you want me to just generally talk about the map?
I think a general overview, but more focusing on how to push onto point. Like when we don't have the point and how to hold
How to
on it.
retake?
Yeah,
Okay.
and also our mids.
Mids? Well, mids are pretty chaotic on this map. I think I guess I'll just start with mids. The most important things are like, first of all, you need all 9, like everybody on your team has to be an active participant in the mid. You can't have your spy trying to like go behind. You can't have like your soldier playing to like go behind unless that's like he's immediately going back in. You need 9 people fighting and getting kills like all at the same time. So for like the classes that you move around most on mids that like change their playstyle most are like scout, soldier, and spy. Pretty much your demo, heavy, medic, pyro, sniper. Everybody's gonna be going shutter, and you're just gonna call a focus target, and everybody's gonna shoot that player. Your scout, soldier, and spy, like I said, they can kind of switch it up, but generally I'd say probably have your scout go roof and like pressure their bats and also shoot people that are being called to focus. Your soldier should bomb, and your spy should. I would recommend running DR on this map. It's up to you. Some people don't like it, but just running DR is nice because you could like walk in with your revolver, shoot the focus, like you can see who's low, tell your team to shoot them, and then instantly like cloak, and then decloak and shutter or some shit that's like really fast. But just try and have like a really fast mid, generally. That's like the best advice I could give you probably. Make sure your demo is getting the arrow if you can. But this goes to you, SN. Like even if you're like, just don't wait too long for the arrow. If you're like 150 HP, just hug the side so your medic can try and get the arrow off. But if you don't get the arrow, it's not the end of the world. Getting here fast is actually like really good on this map. So speed is like sometimes more useful than being full HP. I guess yeah. For mids, one last thing: don't value your medic too much. If your medic dies, it's okay. Just try and cap the point and like hold the point, because this map is super like imbalanced towards the people who have the point. As you guys have noticed probably based on you recommending I talk more about repushes. It's really hard to refight on this map, so mids are super important. I guess I'll just talk more about refights. So the biggest thing that's going to change how you approach it is the Ubers. If you have even Ubers, just exchange every time. Disad, obviously, I would just go for a sack. Don't bother trying to like walk in and dry unless the team is playing super passive. And if it's ad, obviously take that Uber. For those, I'll just like go down the list. How you should play each. I'd say for exchanges, I usually like to just always take the exchange through shutter and just put a sticky down and bomb through shutter, instantly use, get in, make them use. And then as demo, I like to sticky jump out and land on bats for the post. But where you actually like repeat for the post from is going to depend on where their sniper is. Basically, and this is kind of a common theme for this entire map, anytime their sniper is holding bats, if their sniper is on bats, most of your team wants to be pressuring shutter. And if their sniper is toxic or is in shutter, most of your team wants to be going bats. So every time you're about to do any repush, whether it's a post Uber, whether it's like even a sack or like a dry fight, any of those, ask first, where's the sniper? And second, wherever the sniper is, that's going to determine where you guys go. So like I said, if the sniper's bats, don't peek off their bats because you give him the long angle. And if there's sniper shutter, don't go shutter because you're just walking into his angle again. So just keep that in mind. But another big thing about this map is like you wanna be changing your position based on where the sniper is, but also like keep in mind I don't know how many teams in advance do this. Tell me if this is common or not, but at least in invite like the last 2 seasons, a lot of people have been getting super aggressive and shutter and shit. And they've been playing like super forward when they're holding the point.
They're toxic, right?
Yeah, like playing. They'll have like their heavy and their toxic, like heavy over here. They'll
Yeah,
have their
I know this
demo
one.
up pressuring shutter. Like people on roof. Do people do that in advanced?
Not
Once in a
do
blue moon.
Grace.
Last time
Well,
it happened was
if it happens, just I'd say like all you really have to know is just swing your sniper wide bats. Control bats because this is high ground, and if they're doing that, give your sniper this angle, and they can't play forward anymore. But I'll just assume most teams aren't doing that. So if they're doing like the passive normal hold where they have like heavy crates, sniper like toxic or playing around shutter, and they have demo playing here, it's really important to get like your combo. Like when I say combo, I would mostly mean like demo and medic. Has to go where their sniper isn't looking, and I would say you generally want your heavy to like not be peeking the same thing as your combo. So if SN's going bats, you want your heavy shutter for split pressure. And if SN's going shutter, you can have your heavy drop down and play crates. Because you don't want like too many people clumped up and just have everybody like walk into like a single pipe that does 300 damage. That will like kill your push single-handedly. You want to have multiple people pressuring from different sides. Some people like ramp. If your sniper wants to go ramp, I'd say it's only really good if their spy is dead. Because if the other team is good and you go here when their spy's alive, you're gonna get called and then you're gonna get bombed and you're gonna lose your sniper, and that's a waste of time for your repush. So I would just recommend your sniper just pick whatever angles he wants to play between shutter and bats. One small thing for if their sniper's playing bats a lot, by the way, it's kind of like a side comment for your sniper. He's never gonna be buffed, so keep that in mind. Literally just take a 150 and swing him and body shot him, and it's the freest sniper kill ever. That's like another easy way to deal with sniper bats. Let me think. So those are like general things, I guess. For for disads, something you could do to help your sack a little bit. You could have your pyro det jump over roof and air blast people off roof during the sack. Like if teams are playing here and they have Uber, if you do that combined with like a bomb over roof, most teams will use like 99% of the time. It's a very good sack. Asheville is like one of the best maps for sacks because of roof. But just make sure your demo pressures roof first, and then your pyro like gets people off it, bomb over, and it's a free force for you guys. If it's dry, like I said, you just basically just buff up on bats and then take the dry fight whoever I just described, based off where their sniper is. And if it's ad, I don't really like trying to like milk Ubers on this map because there's a lot of like passive angles the snipers could be taking that watch either bats, like could be watching bats from here or some shit, or like here, and he can like drop your medic if you try to hold on to the Uber. If you have ad, I would say just use it like 90% of the time. Just use it through shutter or over bats. Even if you don't, if you just get a couple kills that guarantee you can cap the point, that's a successful Uber because, like I said, controlling the point is like everything on this map. Once you have the point, it's very hard for the other team to repush if you play it correctly. What else? So yeah, don't hold on to Ubers, evens or an ad Ubers. If they have ad, just sack and get a force. If it's even, just take a fast dry fight. I think that's pretty much it. A lot of like the problems people have with repushing on this map is they don't like group up before they do anything. I would just say everybody, as a general rule, meet up on bats before you do anything and avoid the spam angle. Like, don't get det spam so you ruin your crit heals. Don't get like chipped by like somebody scout playing roof or anything. If you have to, you can just roll out inside the shutter, and this is fine. But just avoid stupid and random deaths and damage before your team is telling you to do something. And then once your demo calls, okay, we're drying now, then everybody commits together. But avoid doing anything until you get the call. Because that's where like most of the issues come from for repushes is staggering. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for offense. Do you guys have any like specific class questions? Like if you don't know what to do in like an ad Uber situation, like for your class, or like even Ubers, something like that. If not, I'm just gonna talk about defense. Okay, so for defense, once you have the point, I'm just gonna call this defense. The biggest thing to remember is like everybody on your team, all 9 players, have to know what the Ubers are, because the Ubers determine where your class is standing. If the Ubers are, if they have ad, and your heavy's playing up here, this is stupid. He's just gonna die to the ad Uber, and you're gonna be down a player. I mean, if it's disad or some shit, like you guys have to play. All of you have to play with that in mind. And if you don't know, just ask your medic. Your medic should be like the primary player keeping track of Ubers. It's like his main role. So based off of that, I'll just go like down the line. If you have ad, you don't have ad, or it's even, and it's disad. If you have ad, I don't. Some teams like taking Ubers into shutter. I don't like doing that. I think that's horrible. It like almost never works. And if it does work, it's just the other team fucked up. So if you have ad, I would say best thing you can do on this map personally, just play to not like use the Uber. Play to hold on to the Uber if you have the point. And just bait them out, like bait them into sacking so you can kill their sackers and burn time. Or bait them into like committing their medican and then take the Uber. So positioning for when you have Uber ad, you can actually have your heavy like playing like the crates usually, or you could have them passive helping with bombs depending on who you have on roof. You want to have at least at minimum like your scout on roof to deny the soldier when they sack. Medic can probably be near shutter or ramp, wherever you guys prefer, but just somewhere where when they sack he can be out in like a second, so that it makes it much easier for your team to get it. If you're playing shutter though, quick thing, I would have your engineer playing back here, watching for spy, if your medic is playing shutter, which is like a mini on bats or some shit. So yeah, if you have ad, I would recommend just buying time, holding on to the Uber, and just burning down the clock, because that is how you win the game. You just wait 3 minutes with the point. For disad, basically you just bait the cap as much as you possibly can for as long as you can. Don't play super committed because you know they're just gonna take a shitty Uber through shutter. Just like play. I would again play like near shutter or something, so that you stay in until the second you hear they use, you're out. And then once everybody leaves, hopefully you all lived, come back in and treat it like a slow refight kind of, where like all you have to do is stop them from capping. If you have the point, you should never ever walk out and try and stand on the point. You should always just be shooting them from high ground. Just like pick a smart position to be in. For heavy, like the best place you can be in like a messy post fight is like these crates, and it's just impossible for them to cap if you have a heavy on these crates. If you can't get there, like the toxic barrels is fine. Have people like pressuring shutter, getting them off the point. Have your demo up here with somebody else to help them from roof. Your demo can just sink sticks onto the point, and just make it really hard for them to cap. And once you have like a couple picks to like basically secure the fight, then you can like walk back in and take normal positioning. But a lot of this map is like the like constant like in and out. When you have like disad, you're like playing back, you letting them in. They use the Uber, you're out, and then the Uber's over, they're trying to cap, you're back in. And you're never like overcommitting so that they can actually get a kill on you. So like play your life really, really hard on defense, especially for disads, but also for evens. And on that note, for evens, I would have like, I think it's probably best to avoid like super aggressive playing, like I was kind of talking about. Like this was kind of popular for a while, like playing in their shutter and shit, but I think it's kind of been thought out and it's not that good. So I would just play like standard positioning with like, you could have your heavy on crates, scout on roof, pyro playing with med, watching for spy. Sniper like rotating between shutter and bats a lot is good. Occasionally he can be toxic holding shutter if your team wants it, but as sniper on this point, just move around a lot and be annoying. Because like I said before, for repushing, the first thing they're going to want to do is find out where your sniper is and rotate where he can't see. So if you think about that from the other perspective, if you're a sniper and you're just moving around, that makes it really hard for them. For evens, you could choose to have your heavy here, but let me think. Yeah, if you do this, you just have to be ready to give him a flash, and everybody else has to play with that in mind. So your demo probably shouldn't be playing super committed. Like your demo could just be playing like right behind him, kind of, mostly looking at shutter while your heavy like deals with these guys. But it's even, and just don't be worried about if you have to use first. Like if you get hard pressure, just use the Uber. Because like I said, it's pretty easy to play disads on this map. It's okay if you use the Uber to save like your demo or some shit. It's definitely worth it because you can just rotate and then play it passive. Okay, I'm trying to think. Do you guys have any specific questions for like defense on your class?
Not really a class thing, but when do you usually make the decision? Why do you make the decision, and when do you make the decision to rotate from ramp to shutter and refight? Like
Ramp to
when
shutter.
you still have Uber.
Okay, if you're ever backed up to like here, and if you're down players ever, like this is when you rotate shutter. If you're ever like most of your demo is gonna be the one that's gonna be in this position. But basically, you don't ever really want to refight. Like if they have players drop down playing this corner, it's really harder to refight from ramp, so that's when you rotate. That's why I kind of like kiting like just directly to shutter more, because it's more like direct. It's more of like a clear idea for everybody on your team. Everybody knows what's going to happen. But if you're like kiting ramp and you have to back up to like, I'd say past this line, just leave. Call everybody out, rotate to shutter and bats, and then just play those angles from now on.
I'm glad you brought it up. I never realized how you can passively deny cap without actually committing yourself to that fight.
Exactly. So many people, like, they already have the point, and then they're like, okay, recommit, and they walk forward to, like, here. There's no reason for you to be here. This is dumb. You're just gonna die. And remember, they're the ones that have to play on the point. The point is, like, a really shitty position.
Too. Yeah.
This is a really shitty position on this map. You don't want to be on the point. So, if you don't have to be on the point, don't be on the point. Anything else for your classes?
Yeah.
No, that's incredibly smart. I want to keep that in mind.
You guys should all have an idea of like, for your class specifically, like, if it's disad, I'm gonna play here. If it's ad, I'm gonna play here. If it's even, I'm gonna play here. So if you guys don't like know where your class should be, you could ask.
Do you recommend soldier like holds like on their bats like spamming the corner if you're like, you know, kind of forward or like playing it even?
Yeah, you could be. As soldier, you're pretty flexible. The one thing you have to keep in mind, I'd say, is be ready to bomb ramp. If, like I said, if your spy calls, their sniper's going ramp, that's on your spy and soldier. And anybody else who can help, just walk over and kill those people. And that said, like, from the combo perspective, if you know their sniper's ramp, you can just walk up and take the fight with them, because the thing that's preventing you from playing up here a lot of times is sniper bats. But if you know sniper's ramp, this is a great fight to take. That said, some people like to play like you said. You meant like on fans here, right? As soldier, like playing like this and shit.
Yeah.
You could do that. I'd say the more common thing to do is to play bats with your sniper. Literally just playing like super cringe, like not letting your sniper get stabbed ever, and just making sure their flank can't take your bats basically until your spy says, okay, can you bomb ramp? You say yes, and then you bomb their ramp from bats. But you could try both. If you're playing up here though, the thing that's kind of annoying is you're gonna have to take a lot of heals because you're gonna be taking damage. But if you want to do it, you can try that.
Okay.
Anybody else? Y'all know where you should play?
Who would you prefer to be taking this defensive Uber on even situations?
Mostly your demo, but Your heavy can't be in it. This is the one time where it's understandable if you kind of as heavy get caught in the Uber. It's okay, but you just have to be careful of like sniper ramp in the post. And if you know like if you get to call a sniper's ramp, back up for the like just start backing up in the Uber and have it be a solo on your demo mostly. But yeah, scouts can pretty much stay out of the defensive Ubers, and it's just going to be on your heavy and demo mostly. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Alright, well, I'm gonna go eat.
Thank you so much, DT.
Yep, no problem.
That's pretty useful stuff.
Yeah,
I can't believe I never thought about that thing with the point though.